we're going to have you guys create your own ETFs, or exchange trade funds. So you're going to research some stocks, research some companies, and then choose which ones you think are cool, which ones you'd like to invest in. Before we jump into that, does anybody remember what ETF even just stands for? Anybody think they know? The first word is exchange. Nobody? That's okay. Exchange traded fund. So it's basically a fund that's traded on an exchange. It breaks down pretty easily. Basically what an ETF is a basket full of a percentage of a bunch of stocks. It doesn't have to be a small one. A small one would be like SPY, that has like 500 stocks within the ETF. You guys are going to be making an ETF with 5 to 10. 10 would be a lot, but 5 to 10 stocks that you guys can research just like that. So that's all an ETF is. Does anybody remember why we use an ETF rather than just buying stocks individually? If you're very interested in cars, why not just buy like one car company instead of buying into like a car ETF? Go.
Like diversify your stocks the way like if one company fails, you're still good.
Perfect. Diversification. That's the name of the game here. Okay, you guys. So I think we'll do groups of 4. So before we go on, this is just an example of a couple ETFs. So for example, ARC Innovation, that's like a technology innovation ETF. You can see their holdings. I think they had like 35. This is their top 20. Basically, all you have to have is your stocks that you wanted to include, and then their weight. And the weight is really just how much that particular stock or asset constitutes in the ETF. So for example, if you had like Apple and Tesla, you could do like 35% Apple, and then like 10% Tesla, and then like 10% another company, just like that, to decide how much of a weight that each stock has in each one. And I want you guys to be really creative. So this is like ARC Innovation, that's like technology and innovation. The other one over here is a semiconductor ETF, where maybe you're like an engineer and you like semiconductors and you want to research some of those companies. Make it your own. I encourage you guys to do that. So what we'll do now is first get into groups of about 4. Try to mix it up, meet some new people.
CFMA, the future index. The future, the first. And an ETF of companies focused on a more technological future. That's what we're focused on. And for number 1, we picked Apple, because what do you guys have in your pockets? I'm assuming it's the Apple iPhone. And also Apple gives dividends. So we put them at 13% of the company. I mean, of our fund. Our good friend Raphael, he said IBM, and I couldn't agree more. IBM is diversified in many different avenues and many different places, like consulting, like chips and all that crazy good stuff. So IBM put that at 10%. And then Rivian. Rivian's a new EV. I mean, I don't know if you guys see them on the road, but I've seen a few Rivians on the road, and they look pretty dope. So I put them at 2%. I mean, we put them at 2%, sorry. And then Tesla. And then Tesla. I said, we all know Tesla. Tesla's leading the charge for the future of efficient energy. So Tesla's at 10%, but Tesla's a little bit volatile, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how I feel about that one. So 10% is Tesla. And then ChargePoint was EV charging stations. The people that charge your Teslas or your Rivians, put those at 2%. And then NVIDIA, which is just like semiconductor chips, like, right? And then like they're like in like gaming, they're like in everything. And then AMD, my good friend Vash here is also Yash mentioned some great stuff about NVIDIA and AMD, and I was impressed. I mean,
yeah, so like AMD and NVIDIA are like GPU-based leading companies, like, and they are providing segments where now CPUs and GPUs with like whatnot you can do with the processing unit, which is come in just a small pack, right? I think that's a pretty cool future, right? Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And then a little bit of controversial one. I picked Bitcoin at 3%, because I'm not sure how I feel about Bitcoin. Like it was nice last year. I don't know what year it went to 60,000. I really enjoyed Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that, but ever since then it's been a little bit dismal. So 3% Bitcoin. And then another one, Meta, because Meta is Facebook. You know, Mark Zuckerberg, the whole guys, like they have the Instagram, and also the metaverse. Like, who wants to be in that? I want to have like a CP version of myself. You know what I'm saying? Don't you? Like, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So metaverse. Meta, sorry. 10%. And then Google. Once you explain Google. I mean, the three stocks. We got it.
I mean, the number one most used search engine, like the whole title. So.
Yeah, and they are working on future industries like quantum computing and all that. Yeah.
Also, you watch YouTube. That's Google.
Yeah.
So just know that. Our friend, we want to explain Amazon.
Largest online shopping company, I guess.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, bro.
That's the future.
That's what it is. Also, the biggest company in the world. So I mean, sorry. Also, Google's 10%. Sorry, and Amazon's 15%. Biggest company in the world, and look, I'm guessing you might see some Amazon packages when you get at your house, respectfully. So I won't assume, but yeah. And then our last one, which is was the more like thinking of the future, because Africa is a very untapped market, and a company called Jamia, and it's basically it's I would call it the African Amazon, but like that's what essentially is kind of making it up to be, as it wants to delivery, has its own payment method. And it's already in like South Africa, Egypt, Algeria. Like I mean, most of the or Ethiopia, more of the more developed countries in Africa. But like, it hopes to be spread to all the other ones. So, and then that is it. That's our ETF.
Good job, guys.
Hi guys, our ETF is called Vitalize Energy. We're focusing on two main aspects: renewable and fossil fuel companies, and we're also looking at larger historical companies, and as well as growth companies. So one of the first ones that we looked at was Pacific Gas and Electric, which is a publicly traded company. We decided to put 15% into it, and we picked this especially because of its renewable focus. It's on track for net zero carbon footprint by 2040, and it's one of the largest electric and gas companies in the U.S.
All right, so another one we did is Exxon. We just think it's had a really strong year. It's just a safe stock to be investing in. I mean, multinational oil and gas corporation, and just I think it's had some strong growth, and so with that we put in 30% to that.
And I think one of the most important things when we look at renewable energy is solar energy, which is a really high growing sector right now. And for that, we decided to look at the company Enphase Energy. We put in 18%, and they mainly focus on developing and manufacturing solar technology. And they're taking on more investors right now, so we predict it is a growth stock, and it's going to increase in price.
All right, so then we have we have Chevron, another large company, oil and gas company similar to Exxon, just another safe stock, reliable in our opinion, so that one we put 10%.
And we also decided to look at international markets with a Skyline Champion, which is an India-based company, and it also has connections in the U.S., and they focus on jet fuel and renewable energy. And we think this is a really important growth stock to invest in because right now India is a really booming industry, and they're one of the highest energy users in the world. So we predict that this stock will do really well.
All right, and finally we have Tesla. I mean, everyone knows about Tesla. That we're putting in 20%. I mean, just the tech innovation that Tesla has, and we just think it's a strong stock. So,
Yep. Thank you.
What was your name again? Your ETF name?
Vitalize Energy.
Vitalize. Gotcha.
With
Good
Y.
job. With Y. Good job.
What's up, guys? Our ETF is going to be called the Future ETF. I know the group in the back kind of beat us to it. We kind of have a mix of a little bit of everything. So our first stock is going to be a stock called Wave Dancer. Ticker is WAVD. We put 5% into this. It's a blockchain-based software cybersecurity company. It's kind of like our gamble stock. I know a few people who work for it, and I was like, why not just gamble a little bit of money and put it in there? They seem to know what they're talking about. So it sounds super high-end, super techy, so I was like, why not? And the second one is going to be, I think it's pronounced Albemarle. Ticker is ALB. We're going to put 20% into that. It's a US-based company. It's one of the largest lithium battery companies in the world. We were just thinking like in the future, Tesla and all these Ford, they're all going to start using battery operated cars. So what battery companies produce the most, so that one's going to be 20%.
And then we're also also like putting in micron technology just because it's like it's been doing well for the past few years, and it's like had constant growth, and it has a really good PE. It has like a 5.77, and it has dividends too. So yeah, and it's like has a lot of things that it plans to do in the future that like sound like they would be good. And also, and we put 25% in that. And then we also have Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. And this one is like it has a pretty good PE. It has high dividends, and the products are used in a variety of end markets. So, and like they have, yeah, and so we thought it would just be a good company. We'll trade 15%.
We also had DraftKings, so sports betting is pretty much all over the media nowadays, and a lot of these big websites are encouraging or kind of pushing people to make their own bets to try and make it on there. So I feel like it's a booming industry, and with laws coming out to support betting in states, I feel like we can gain a lot from that. So we put 50% into that DraftKings, and then we also had Rivian, like the other group did. So we put 10% into Rivian, another company that could potentially be the next Tesla, specializing in their electric vehicles, and currently trading at only $33. There's a lot of room to be made there.
Good stuff. Thank you guys so much. All right, the last team to present.
So our team name is House Business. You know, probably not on the fly, but I would say like our portfolio mainly consists of a lot of tech and some delivery and retail services, and not like research by companies. So I guess we put 25% in NVIDIA because I guess because just all the graphics cards and how they make all their like hardware and software for computers is really neat, I guess, and they're always out of stock. We also did Amazon at 30% because I think Amazon is pretty goated with this stuff. Like not just like not really necessarily like their price of the products, but just how convenient they are, and their customer service is kind of just like incredible. We also did Google, and then we did SkyDrop, which is like a delivery drone service for food, and then we did 10% on Airbnb because real estate is cool. Yep, that's it.
Perfect.
Bye.